Welcome back to NBA Cinema, guys. So we have to talk briefly about Jayson Tatum and Steve Kerr. Now, last night, the Boston Celtics got their revenge. Earlier on this season, the Warriors went into Boston and won. You know, Jayson Tatum wanted that game really bad with the way things went down with Team USA. The excuses that Steve Kerr made about not finding him minutes, essentially placing him in the same category with a player like Tyrese Halliburton, buried at the bottom of the bench, even elected to play his teammate Derek White more minutes, who many felt like Jaylen Brown should have been on that team over. So there was a lot of layers to this. And you remember last time, right here in Boston, you could see Jayson Tatum ignoring Kerr at the end of the game. And he got the opportunity to do that again. Now we're gonna look back at what Jayson Tatum said, um, you know, prior to the season, and then we're gonna look at what he did last night.
Curious what you learned from your experience at the Olympics this summer.
That's a broad question. You want to be more specific?
Um, is it something you're going to draw motivation from, I guess?
Want to address I didn't play in two of those games. That's what you mean?
That's part of it, yeah.
Uh, Motivation. Um, I guess you could say that, and if you want to simplify it. In real time, it was tough, but it's and Joe. I talk to Joe a lot. Joe was probably the happiest person in the world that I didn't win Finals MVP and that I didn't play in two of the games in the Olympics. So that was odd, but if you know Joe, it makes sense. Did I need any extra motivation coming into the season? No, I don't. I wouldn't. I'm not going to give anybody in particular credit that they're motivating me to come into the season. It was a unique circumstance, something I wasn't having experienced before in my playing career. But I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason. I was coming off a championship, the highest of the highs, and cover a 2K, a new contract, and then that happened. And whatever the reason is, I haven't figured out yet. But I am a believer that everything does happen for a reason. But it was a good experience. We won the gold medal. I won my second one. I was around some of the best players I ever played a game on a daily basis and built some friendships and, was able to bring my family out there and enjoy the Olympics as a whole. So that was a
You shoot 53% from the field, 42 from downtown, but defensively, you hold a very potent Golden State team to 35% from the field and only 26 from three.
Olympians, gold medal winners, Steve Kerr kind of hanging around. I was curious to see if there was a Tatum, Steve Kerr handshake there. Jaylen Brown.
So JT gets his moment of revenge. Now, this is what I will say to someone like Steve Kerr. You cannot sit there and bench Jayson Tatum and pretend there's no minutes to be found for him. Um, Tatum contributes in a lot of ways. I know he got a lot of flack for Jaylen Brown getting the first Finals MVP of this Boston team's, I guess, of this era, right, in Boston. But Tatum is a great rebounder for a small forward. He came alive at clutch moments in the game, and he is one of those guys who him and Brown has been playing so long together that now they don't get in each other's way as much. They can um, play together to win a title. Remember, the conversation has shifted so much on these guys that at one point you got to trade Brown, get rid of Tatum. Well, it was like keep Tatum, get rid of Brown, and Brown comes back, works harder, gets better, and that's what we like to see in today's NBA. Nobody running to super team up with somebody else, but let the guys grow up together. And so when Jayson Tatum achieved that mountaintop as a player, was able to go over with Team USA, um, encourage finding minutes for someone like Devin Booker and those guys, last time. But this time, we can't find no minutes some games for Jayson Tatum in a basketball game. I think that is outlandish, to even try to wrap your head around. And Steve Kerr, nobody accuses him of being the best coach. I mean, I know I heard Stephen A say it, but when you think about it, these are Mark Jackson's guys. Um, Not to take away from what he has accomplished, but all he had to do was get in the car and drive it. At that point, I think you can look at Kaminga's lack of development earlier as one of those things. He always wanted to, he could find minutes for Pods right away, but no minutes for Kaminga in his first few seasons. Um, Never put Wiseman in the game, and the Warriors are where they are right now, getting beat by 40 and all that stuff because they're still trying to play with Steph getting up 9 or 10 threes a game. That's over. You're never gonna win like that again. He can be a really good player on your team still and all that, but he needs to. I ain't even gonna say Steph necessarily needs to do anything, but other players should have been developed more. See, this is a year Kaminga should be averaging about 24, 25 a game if you would have developed him right. So I have all kinds of questions with um, Steve Kerr. You can't look at the prototype of someone like Kaminga and not think he should be in the echelon of Jalen Williams with OKC. Same physical prowess, right? But Kerr, I think he's comfortable playing who he wants to play, and that was going to be LeBron, Steph, KD at all times. And rightfully so. Those guys came up big, not knocking those, just saying a lineup with those three can also feature Jayson Tatum in FIBA basketball. We saw Carmelo Anthony in FIBA play, who's predominantly a three in the NBA, but if you put him in FIBA, great four man for that style of basketball. So man, yeah, I just got questions about Steve Kerr, and I'm happy Jayson Tatum did this. And let me give Jayson Tatum his kudos before I get out of here. I like the way Jayson Tatum answers questions professionally. He like Ant Man would be like F him or something like that. Tatum answered these questions right, but then when he saw him, he gave him the energy that he deserved, and I appreciate that from Tatum. Tatum, I like his answers, and I like his behavior towards Kerr. Now you ain't about to dap me up. It's not cool. It kind of lends to what Teague said, about Jayson Tatum, how he really is in real life. But as far as his brand, I know people talk about Tatum too laid back, and I think this is where some of the narrative about him being soft came from. Not playing in the Olympics and all that stuff, not getting the proper burn. So they're trying to paint. It's always a narrative trying to be placed on Tatum, and I don't really like it, man. A guy to stand with his team, and we put all these pressures on people to be who we want them to be. But I think Tatum is fine. I mean, he may even win a Finals MVP if they get back this year. So you can't write him off still early in his career, man. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.